Join me as I dive into Romans 1 to explore the big question, does God really exist? Let's see what we can find. In the book of Romans, chapter 1, we find a powerful exploration of the existence of God, one that has shaped the way Christians think about faith and reason for centuries. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Many of us have been there, wondering if God is really out there or if it's all just a myth. On one hand, there are those who deeply believe in God's existence, but on the other hand, there are those who are more skeptical, who need proof, who need evidence. And then there are those who are somewhere in between, unsure of what to make of it all. The question of God's existence is a challenging one, especially in today's modern world where science and technology have given us so much insight into the workings of the universe. It's natural to wonder if a divine being is really necessary, or if we can just rely on human ingenuity and discovery to explain the mysteries of life. But the relevance of Romans 1 goes far beyond the intellectual debate. It speaks to the very heart of human existence, our purpose, and our place in the world. So, let's dive into this rich biblical text and see what it has to say about the existence of God. In Romans 1:20, it says, "For since the creation of the world God's invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." This verse tells us that God's attributes, His power and nature, are evident in the world around us, in creation itself. This is not just a philosophical idea, but a fundamental truth that has shaped Christian thought for centuries. In verse 21, it goes on to say, "For although they knew God, they neither glorified Him as God nor gave thanks to Him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened." This speaks to the human tendency to suppress the truth about God, to ignore the evidence that's right in front of us, and instead, to rely on our own limited understanding. The implications of this are huge, because if God's existence is evident in creation, then that means that humanity has a responsibility to recognize and respond to this revelation. Romans 1 is saying that God has revealed Himself to us in a way that's understandable, that's accessible, and that's undeniable. The attributes of God are not just some abstract concepts, but they're reflected in the beauty and complexity of the world around us. The intricate design of the human body, the vastness of the universe, the beauty of nature, all of these things speak to a Creator who is eternal, all-powerful, and all-knowing. This is not just about proving God's existence, it's about recognizing the reality of God's presence in our lives, in our world, and in our very own existence. Romans 1 is telling us that God's existence is not just a philosophical idea, but a living, breathing reality that requires a response from us. In conclusion, Romans 1 presents a compelling case for God's existence, one that's rooted in creation and in the human experience. As we reflect on this biblical text, we're reminded of our responsibility to acknowledge and respond to God's revelation in our lives. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of Romans 1. Share your thoughts on the topic in the comments below and be sure to check out our next video on related theological discussions.